So here are 12 starting points, not the final blueprint, starting points. 12 structural moves that reattach authority to consequence. 12 mechanisms that force responsibility back into the system. If even half of these were implemented, Australia would begin correcting course immediately. Preferential voting should be abolished and replaced with first-past-the-post voting. The parliamentary system should be replaced with a presidential model, where executive authority is directly accountable to the people. Internal party mechanisms should have no bearing on who represents the electorate. Pre-selection should not override voter will. Representation must return to the electorate, not factional negotiations. Political donations and freebies should be treated as corruption. If giving a gift to a police officer to influence an outcome is illegal, then giving money or benefits to a politician or political party to influence outcomes should be illegal. Intent does not need to be proven through confession. Access itself is influence, and political parties, politicians, bureaucrats, and advisory boards must be held criminally accountable where corruption is established. Campaign truth laws. Political campaign material should be subject to the same advertising and truth standards as every other form of public communication. If it is illegal for a business to mislead consumers, it should be illegal for a political party or affiliated lobby groups to mislead voters. Deliberate deception and obfuscation should carry enforceable penalties. Democracy cannot function if lying is protected speech. Media accountability. Mainstream media organisations, including publicly funded broadcasters like the ABC, should be subject to criminal investigation where there is evidence of deliberate misinformation for financial or political gain. COVID demonstrated that mainstream media will repeat false or unverified claims in exchange for advertising revenue, access, and narrative alignment. If executives or commentators knowingly publish false information that causes public harm, they should face the same fraud and accountability standards as any other profession. Both senior executives and on-air commentators must be personally liable where deliberate deception can be demonstrated. Media power without accountability becomes propaganda. Professional licensing accountability. Professionals and their licensing boards must be accountable to the full force of the law. Where systemic incompetence or negligence causes widespread harm, such as in public health failures, both practitioners and regulatory bodies must face civil and criminal scrutiny. Justices, judges, and court officers should be held accountable for misconduct and gross negligence. Judicial independence does not mean judicial immunity. Where reckless sentencing decisions demonstrably endanger the public, judicial review mechanisms must allow for meaningful consequences. Authorities must never be insulated from responsibility. State police forces and key enforcement bodies should be disbanded and replaced with a unified federal policing body. All police would belong to one national force, answerable to the Federal Attorney General, not defence. So policing remains civilian, not military. This ends jurisdictional buck passing. This ends state fragmentation of enforcement. This forces clear responsibility for the use of state power. Federalism failed its biggest test under COVID. Fragmented enforcement produced fragmented accountability. That cannot happen ever again. Energy sovereignty. The federal government should compulsorily acquire all major energy generation assets and assume sole responsibility for national energy production. Energy is a sovereign infrastructure. Privatisation and fragmented control have destabilised the system in a short period of time. If private and foreign-owned corporations cannot guarantee affordable and reliable energy for Australians, they should not control the backbone of the nation. Energy security must serve the country, not shareholders. Castle doctrine should become the law of the land. Australians must have the clear legal right to defend themselves, their families, and their homes without fear of prosecution for reasonable self-defense. Self-defense laws must be clarified and strengthened. The state cannot simultaneously fail to prevent crime and criminalize citizens for protecting themselves. Full transparency. All government documentation should be publicly available by default. The only exception should be where release poses a demonstrable and immediate risk to identifiable individuals. Australians are the employers of politicians. Sealed agreements, such as those surrounding COVID pharmaceutical contracts, should not be hidden under commercial and good confidence. Excuses. Secrecy protects power. Transparency enforces responsibility. Mandatory media access. All politicians should have enforceable expectations regarding media access across the entire media spectrum. Coalition members should be required to appear on ABC. Labor members should be required to appear on Sky News. Ministers must make themselves available to any reasonable request.